Hey there, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to share an old school tip. It's all about using the cash and how this can save you a ton of money for not only today, but also for your future. Stay tuned. Hey there, it's Brad Nelson with Balance Sense Financial Coaching, bringing you more tips today to help you save money and pay off debt so that you too can melt away your financial stress and live a debt-free life. Hey, we are turning our focus to saving money, and every week we are going to be tackling a new way to save on things that you're already spending money on. And by taking action and doing some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about here in this series, you can build your very first emergency fund, or heck, maybe even begin to start paying down tons of debt. Now, the next tip I'm sharing is how to save tons of money by using an old school tool called cash. Now, let me ask you, do you have discipline? And let me tell you what I mean. When it comes to credit cards and debit cards, do you have the discipline to say no? Because you've got to be highly disciplined because it's easy to spend more than you can afford. Check this out. McDonald's actually reported that their average transaction rose from $4.50 to $7 when customers used credit cards. Now, if people were overspending at McDonald's using credit cards, could they be overspending on some other purchases? Interesting, right? Let's check this next study out. Science has actually produced several studies that raise some eyebrows on the use of credit cards. Now, one of these studies I found rather interesting, so let me share it with you. It was done by a guy by the name of George Lowenstein, a Carnegie Mellon professor of social and decision sciences and co-author of a paper found in the Journal of Neuron. Tongue twister, I know, right? He says this, credit cards effectively anesthetize the pain of pain. You swipe the card and it doesn't even feel like you're giving anything up to make these purchases, unlike paying cash where you actually have to hand over real bills. Now, I want to point out two words in that quote. The first one is anesthetize, which means to administer an anesthetic. Like when you have surgery, or let's say you go to the dentist and you get a cavity filled, right? They numb that area so you don't feel the pain. Now, the other word I want to talk about is pain. And in Lowenstein's study, which was to see if pain centers of the brain would actually activate when a person would see prices, found that insula activation discouraged spending. And here's what Lowenstein said. He said, "We were so excited when we got the results from the first scans, and we saw that the insula, a section of the brain associated with pain processing, activated when subjects saw prices that were too high." So what does all this science really mean? Well, it means that our brain registers pain with prices, and the higher the pain, the less spending we might do because of that increased insula, which essentially would trigger more pain. But as Lowenstein stated, credit cards, those anesthetize, aka numb the pain of pain. It's interesting, right? So maybe those credit cards are costing you more than you think, and you really don't even know how painful it really is. So how can using cash help you save money? Well, pretty straightforward. Number one, as I just said, science has proven that you will likely spend more money when using credit cards. You got to be disciplined, and most of us aren't. So when you switch to just using cash for your purchases, you likely will experience instant savings. Pretty fantastic. Number two, I think cash holds you more accountable. Once the money runs out, it runs out. There is no more spending. That's a red flag. Like, hey, we've spent the amount of money that we said we were going to spend. No more spending. But when you use a credit card or even a debit card, you can get this feeling that there's this unlimited funds mentality. You can go out and treat yourself way too much, right? Number three, being that your brain registers pain with using cash and prices, as it was discovered in Lowenstein's study, you will spend less, naturally, right? Pretty sweet. And number four, once you switch to cash, you won't be piling up more and more debt and paying high interest fees. So check this out. With just a few simple changes and spending a little time on some of this stuff, you can save yourself tons of money by changing a few habits, freeing up cash to save that first emergency fund, pay down your debts, or even start saving for your future. So go ahead, get started, and I can't wait to hear how much you saved. Hey, if you liked today's YouTube video, give us a big thumbs up. And if you're new, hey, subscribe to our channel for more tips to save money and pay off debt and to learn how to live a happier and stress-free financial life.